Chandler Simpson has gotten the call, and I got 10 names that you want to add to put you over the edge this week to bring home a W on today's action packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, we're your number one source of fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. I'm your host, Matthew Ane. You can find me on X, Twitter, whatever we call it, at Matthew_Ane. If you're watching on YouTube, please click the bell below to subscribe you to the channel and give you a notification every time we drop a new episode. Also, please, if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or wherever the audio is coming from, can you please leave us a 5-star rating and review? It really helps out the show. And if you want a little bit more than what we offer on this 30-minute podcast, check us out on Subtext, become a member of the Diamond Club, where you'll have direct access to us and a whole bunch of extra content that we can't fit into this 30-minute podcast. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. And okay, so it's going to be a good one. Happy holidays, everybody. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves. I'm recording this on Saturday, so, if the percentages are off and the ownership's off, I apologize. But, we're taking the day off, but I wanted to get you an episode out since we missed one last week. So let's get into it. We got 10 names today that we're going to add. We got 10 names that I think are going to push you over the edge to start off the week. Some of these guys are two-start pitchers, but we're not going to really focus on them. If you have same-day ads, then maybe you want to do that. Other than that, it is what it is. Look, I'm not going to say, hey, we're going to go and grab all these guys for all their starts. We're just going to grab them for the starts that matter, and that's later in the week anyway. So let's get in, let's dig in, and let's talk to the guy I mentioned right at the top in the cold open. Chandler Simpson got in the call on Friday, which is cool. Dude's a speed demon, quite honestly. He has absolute elite speed. The one season, my guy stole 104 stolen bases in the minors between A and AA. Kid's just got wheels. He's had a 94 stolen base season, a 55. Like, kid's got wheels. And even before getting the call, through literally 32 games, he has 31 stolen bases. Kid just got gas, and he hits for average too, which is kind of wild. Through his minor league career, you look at it, and he's a career 324 batting average kind of guy. It's really interesting. Like, yeah, the Rays aren't this super elite hitting team, but he'll at least be in position to steal bases, maybe get driven in, and then lastly, at least hit for average. So he's going to get on base. He's going to have the stolen base opportunity. And he's going to be able to bring in runs. He's not really a power guy whatsoever. Like, you look at what his power numbers are. He's had like one home run seasons, and that's about it. So I'm not going to count on for that. But in points leagues, he hits doubles a little bit and some triples. Obviously, some triples because the dude's got wheels. But he's really going to be your run, you know, walk the strikeout kind of guy where he's going to walk more than he's going to strike out. At least that's what his profile is showing in the minors. I don't know how it's going to translate into the bigs. And he's going to be an interesting key cog. I mean, points leagues, I feel like he's way more valuable because of the consistency he can bring in terms of points with the doubles, the walks and the strikeout versus the strikeouts, the stolen base, obviously, and the runs. In categories, it's a little bit more diluted, especially in head-to-head roto or overall roto. He's going to be very, very specific to stolen bases and batting average. Obviously, those are the two ends of where he's going to have his most impact. Now, is that bad? Absolutely not. Like, you missed out on stolen bases, or you really want the edge, right? You're going up against a guy has like Ellie De La Cruz. Like, yeah, you might want Chandler Simpson because he's going to get you a stolen base literally every day. So, it's just a matter of what your needs are. Am I going out there and like adding him? No, I'm not. I think unless again I'm in points leagues, that's a different animal. But in head to head or roto overall, he's a good ad for the specialty he offers. Other than that, I'm not really too excited to see him on my team. So for me, he's low priority, but in those kind of leagues and in points leagues, definitely gonna add him. But let's move on. Let's talk about another guy that got the call, and that's Luke Keyshaw of I believe the Twins, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I am right. The Minnesota Twins. So he gets the call, and he's an interesting prospect. I'm not gonna lie. Like I had him on a couple of my dynasty leagues, so I do have a little bit of familiarity. So before getting the call up this season, he has had 46 at bats, 8 runs, a double, a bomb, five ribs, 4 stolen bases, batting 261. Previous seasons, he's had a 15 home run season through 379 at bats and 23 stolen bases, batting 303. And then right before that, 3 home run season through like 111 at bats with 15 ribs, 11 stolen bases, and batting 288. College and things like that, he's had a good career, 18 home run season, stolen bases, batting averages pretty much always showed out. This past year was actually the first year where it's lower at 261. So he's going to be somebody that's interesting. He has both points and head-to-head roto value, I think, because of the walks. A walk and strikeout ratio is pretty good, 62 walks to 80 strikeouts in 2024, 9 walks to 11 strikeouts this season in the minors, and already has made a stamp into the bigs with batting 500. He already has a run, a double, and a rib and a stolen base. So he's already making his impact. He's going to be a pretty decent player. I don't know how much I'm going to believe into the power. You know, the 15 home run season pace with the 379 at bats is maybe like a 22 home run season, 23 home run season. The stolen bases are legit. So, even if you're getting a guy that has 22 home runs and 30 some odd stolen bases, that's fantastic. We'll see. Um, am I running out to get him either? No, but he's exciting. I think I'll prioritize him over Chandler Simpson since he has 5 category contribution upside. So I feel like he's the better prospect in my opinion, just for fantasy baseball, maybe not in real baseball. But I'm going out there. I'm definitely going to add him. He's higher than some of the other than some of the other guys, but he's not. He's definitely higher than Chandler Simpson. So just keep an eye out. And if you have the need, the kid has what second and short and third base eligibility. So the flexibility, the Swiss Army knife also helps in terms of his value and why I would probably add him if I need a little bit more. A guy that could slot in almost anywhere. So, you know, add Luke Keyshaw. He's definitely higher than Chandler Simpson at this point. But let's move on. Let's talk about a guy that's like right on the fringe, Michael Busch, in terms of ownership availability. He's sitting at 57% owned, and by Monday it might be him a lot higher. But I feel like he needs to be mentioned if it doesn't increase by Monday, and he needs to be added. That's point blank. So him and the Cubs are looking good this year. Tucker's just doing Tucker things, and he's benefiting as well. But he's also having a good season on his own. I mean, you look at his season so far. 72 at bats, 12 runs, 6 doubles, a triple, 4 bombs, 13 ribs, a stolen base, 5 walks, and 19 strikeouts aren't hot, but still batting 306. He has an OBP of 375, a slug of 583, and an OPS of 958. Look, I genuinely like the kid. I've always liked him. He got Dodgered his whole first half of his career. Last year, I think it was like his hey, like I'm trying to get used to everyday play, but it's my coming out party. This is a breakout year, I think, for him wholeheartedly. Even the underlying stats are kind of aligned what he's doing. The XWOB is sitting at 371, the expected batting average at 270, expected slug at 517. Everything's kind of on par. And the average exit velocity is sitting 90.8 miles an hour. He's barreling 11% of the time. Creating hard contact 43.4% of the time. Would like to see a little bit better, but still good. He's not really chasing, which is great, but he is whiffing and striking out and not really walking as much. But he's still getting the job done. He's still looking good. I got to say, like I'm really liking that. Obviously, he's doing really well against a fastball. He has a 262 batting average against it. Any breaking pitches, he's hitting 333, which is kind of scary. And then even all speeds, he's really seeing them well. Has a batting average right now of 417. So he's really doing his thing. In all honesty, Michael Busch is somebody that I'm definitely going out and adding. I actually drafted him. He was one of the guys I said, "Hey, you kind of don't even leave your draft without him because I think this is going to be a season of consistency and kind of like a more of a full season kind of look versus him getting his first real licks at baseball on a full time basis." So Michael Busch is probably a higher end priority. I'll give like a ranking out on subtext, but my guy is somebody you definitely need to 100% add at this point. If he's out there, do not pass on him. I don't care how shallow of a league or how deep of a league. If he's out there, he needs to be added. Don't let him end up on somebody else's team because then it's going to come back and bite you in the butt. Michael Busch. All right. Coming up next, I got guys like Heston Kierstad, Reese Hoskins, and some pitchers that I think we should really be paying attention to and probably add because these guys are all doing their thing right now, and they're going to help you win now. So that's the whole point of the show. So that's coming up on the other side of this. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help you keep your feeling fuller longer. Personally, I love the no shell option. It's perfect for grab and go snack for a busy day, whether I'm, snacking at my desk on a road trip, just need a quick protein boost. They're always good to go. And I love the cracking into open shells and satisfying the crunch. The in shell option are a classic favorite. Get snacking, get cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit Wonderful Pistachios to learn more. And all right, look, if you need a little bit more insight, you need a little bit more than what we offer in this 30-minute podcast, and you just feel like, hey, we give just the right amount, but oh, I could always use a little bit more. I could use that a leg up. Check us out on Subtext. Become a member of the Diamond Club. There's so many ways to have the leg up on your competition, right? Whether it's just a counsel, which you can just, shoot us a text and we'll actually just answer you. There's a little insight of who to prioritize on this website, on this episode, you know, little back end, reminders of certain stats we pointed out or things like that. And prospect call ups. We're pretty quick with it. If you were, what do you call it? If you were a subtext member, you got the alert of Keyshaw and Simpson. So, you know, get in there. I mean, we'll probably be as quick, if not faster than some, because it all depends on when the alerts come in. But Dom and I source from multiple sites, so we're gonna get you those alerts a lot faster. So check us out on Subtext. Get free 2 weeks. Links in the description below. But all right, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it grooving. Let's get back into baseball. Let's talk about Heston Kierstad at the Baltimore Orioles. Now, long term value, I'm not really sure. He's right now doing his thing. I liked him as a prospect, but I'm looking at him as more of a now option than I am looking at him for, essentially a long-term aspirations because, you know, Kierstead really didn't you know, show up the first time he got it. And he really didn't have a lot through 100 at bats. He didn't have more than 4 home runs, batted 253, and was sent up and down a little bit too. So like I'm not really thrilled, but this last week is something that's why I'm highlighting him. 5 runs, 3 bombs, 8 ribs, batting 353. That's the key part right there. I want to see what he does moving forward. I don't know how much patience or leash I'm going to give him in those regards, but Kierstad is somebody that has had the prospect pedigree a little bit. Showed power in the minors. I'll read off a couple of his minor league stats, like especially in 2024 before getting the call. He had 231 at bats. He had 51 runs, 15 doubles, a triple, 16 bombs, 61 ribs, 2 stolen bases, and batted 303. So, like in his minor league profile, he hit for average, 303, 303, and then in 357 in fall league. Like he's always had like a really good batting average, always had decent power. Like, like I said, the 231 home at bat pace with 16 home runs. The season before that in 23, 21 home runs to 479 at bats. Like he is a good prospect and he does have the power if he really wanted to show out. So I kind of want to see what he does in this regard. It's just a matter of patience level. If he cools off, I might hold on to him for another week, but also at the same time, like if I need to replace him, I got to win now. I won't be upset if I drop him either. He's not a guy I'm looking to hold on to. So add him while he's hot. If it continues, then maybe give a little patience. Let's earn him. Let's have him earn his leash versus okay, he was a decent prospect and he instantly has that consideration because who knows? Not every prospect pans out, and it could be the story with Heston Kierstad. I hope not because I do like the profile. So we'll see. I would say add him and kind of just ride it out from there. Let's move on. Let's talk about Reese Hoskins. Reese Hoskins is making a little comeback since going to the ACL a couple years ago, playing with the Brewers. And last year was nice, but this year is going to be even better. I have a feeling. 53 at bats already, 4 runs, a double, 2 bombs, 8 ribs, you know, 8 walks to 15 strikeouts, batting 245. So we all know who he is as a whole. Points leagues, he's probably going to be more of a damage to your team than he is going to be a positive. But in head to head leagues and roto leagues, he has a little bit more value. The power's there. He had 26 last year through 449 at bats. We have all seen what he's done when he was on the Phillies with, 30 home run seasons, 27 home run seasons, 34 home run seasons. The power's there. And, you know, for me, I definitely want to go out there and add him. I don't care about the batting average all that much. He's going to be a 245 hitter, essentially. He's just going to do what he does. Runs and ribs, I think, are going to be a little bit more on the limited side, with the Brewers being who they are, but still good enough. He's going to provide you with a decent input every single week. He's just not going to be like a top 50 player, top 70 player. And chunks he can, but in others, he's really not. He's about 31% owned, and he's somebody that I think we need to just like add, see who this takes us, especially if you have like corner infield and things like that available, right? Like, yeah, corner infield availability, like, or if you play in one of those leagues where you need a left fielder, like, here you go. Like, Reese Hoskins has that. I think you need to add him. He's definitely one of the higher priority guys on this episode, but check us out on subtext for that. Reese Hoskins. Let's move on. Start moving into some pitching. So about Grant Holmes, the Atlanta Braves. Uh, Grant Holmes is 30% owned, and he's playing against Arizona this week. And I like the matchup. Arizona doesn't really scare me, but it's not a cupcake matchup either. So, be careful, but I feel like he can get the job done going out there. Uh, you know, I think that so far this season he's proven that he's worth at least a little bit, and that we should give him a shot. 16 innings pitched, 15 strikeouts, a 3.78 ERA, and a 1.14 WHIP. I like him. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I Dom got me into him going into preseason, and I think that he's definitely earned a place in my heart here. His last outing against Toronto had 3.52 ERA through 7, which is great. So he's got the quality start, which is good for points leagues as well. And he had 4 strikeouts and got the W with a .52 WHIP. Then, against Philly a couple weeks ago on the ninth, he went 4 innings, 6 Ks, no earned runs, and a 1.75 WHIP. WHIP was insanely high. And then he got lit up against the Dodgers, which this was also March 31st. So I can't really hold it against him. I'm going to be patient with him. I think that there's going to be better levels to him than we're actually expecting, than the stat line is showing. So that the 3.78 ERA, I don't think tells the whole story. Underlying stats aren't really wonderful, but still, I mean, it's only a little bit of small sample size for him, and I feel like again, things are going to get better for him. Fastball velocity still in at 94.7 miles an hour. He is giving up hard contact, which is rough, but he is getting guys to chase about 29.3% of the time. Like to see him create a little bit more whiffs, but at the same time, maybe he's just not that strikeout guy we all want him to. Last year he was like a little over a K per inning, and it is what it is. Finished with 3.56 ERA through that 68 innings, so he has shown that he can be consistent. On top of that, I mean, the four seam fastball is the one that's been getting hit a lot. And if you can figure that out, I think the fact that he leans on it 40% of the time, I think is the part that we just need to get corrected. He's getting hit at 300 batting average, but last year was getting hit at 238. His curveball is absolutely filthy. It's a 1.54 year batting average, and he's just really getting guys with that. And then his slider. Has a batting average of 0, expected batting average of 246, but he's putting guys away with that at a 30% rip. So that's his really like his, okay, I'm putting him away. I'm slicing him down at the knees kind of type deal. So Grant Holmes got a filthy slider in those regards. So I definitely would say let's add him. He's one of my favorite pitchers on this episode, not the favorite, but one of the favorite. Grant Holmes definitely just needs to be added. Sorry about the kids in the background. Doing this on a Saturday morning. Kids are super excited to have me home finally. But you know, we're getting this episode done today. So let's keep moving and grooving here. And coming up next, I got guys like Shane Smith, Merrill Kelly, and Nick Martinez coming up after this. Guys that I think should be streamed at least this week, without a doubt. Ever check your bank account and wonder where did all my money go? It's me every weekend. Between dining out, online, shopping, entertaining, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. You're a personal CFO, giving you visibility and control of your finances. Monarch Money isn't the budget app; it's a complete financial command center. You track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just making your money just and start just making money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch Money, I realized just how I spent on food delivery, which is a lot. Now I budget smarter and save even more. You know, even managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track, share, and your personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page with no stress, which really does help your relationship. Trust me. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code Locked On MLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com and use the code Locked On MLB for for half off your first year. All right, let's finish this latter half up. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Mr. Shane Smith. Shane Smith plays for them Chicago White Sox and has an interesting start to the season. He is definitely not a long-term play. Anybody on the White Sox is not a long-term play at this moment, but I'm intrigued. Let's see what's going on here. So with Shane Smith, his last couple outings have been interesting. He's also a sparp in both in for points leagues. So he went against Boston, went about 6 innings deep, had 3 Ks, 3 ERA with a 117 whip, got the quality start. Went against Cleveland the week before on April 8th, 6 innings, 6 Ks, no earned runs, .5 whip, and got the quality start. And then even went against Minnesota, 5.2 innings, 3 Ks, a 318 ERA with a 106. So he's not going to blow you away with like a K per nine or anything like that, but he is, tallying up quality starts. He's proven he can go deep into games, and that is the part that I'm interested when it comes to Shane Smith. I'm not really going for anything else. Shane Smith is 14% owned and playing against Minnesota this week. Yeah, I'm going to probably roll him out. I think that he's definitely earned it. I mean, I think that we can trust him a little bit. Let's see how much leash we can really give him. This matchup, I feel okay with. I feel like it's not going to hurt us. And if he's doing what he's doing against Boston and Cleveland, there's no reason he can't do it against the Twins. If he can go 6 innings, get us to QS, and at least get us 3 Ks and not give up a run. This is what you want from him, and it's going to be a great streamer. So with Shane Smith, I'd add him this week if he handles himself well and see what the matchup is next week. Then we can kind of go from there. Maybe we hold on to him. Maybe we don't. We'll find out coming in later in that later in the week until we see what his next expected start is. So yeah, Shane Smith is a must add at literally we call it, sorry, 14% owned. Our next guy here is Merrill Kelly. He is 34%. And quite honestly, that the first outing I was pretty impressed with. Um, and even though the season stats aren't great, the season total stats aren't great. I feel that you know, the kid is definitely worth an ad at this point. He's shown in the past he did pitch really good for in a World Baseball Classics a few years ago. Unfortunately, went down to injury, but he's been pretty solid, especially his last start. Even though it was Miami, 6 innings, 9 Ks, got the W, a 1.5 ERA with a .67 WHIP, and a quality start. And then what goes up against Baltimore the week before, 6 innings, a win, 4 strikeouts, 3 ERA, a .83 WHIP, and a quality start. And then yeah, he got lit up against the Yankees, but who hasn't? And then, on March 28th, handled himself against the Cubs, 5 innings, 1 K, 169 ERA with a 1.31 whip. Obviously, you'd like to see a little bit more Ks, but hey, at least he's handling business. That was his first start in the for the season. And now it's only gotten better from here. He's going to be against Chicago on the 20th, which is, yesterday for you guys when this is coming out. But then next week, it looks like he's lining up against Miami again, who he just tore apart. So I 100% say, like, let's go out there and add him. He's one of the higher end priority guys in terms of pitching, especially this matchup against Miami. He's out there in a lot of leagues. I'm definitely adding him. He's somebody you don't want to miss out on. He could have long-term value, so I'll throw the long-term value tag on him. Merrill Kelly is somebody that we've at least be successful for a whole season. So 100% go out there, add him. Don't miss out. Don't let him come up against you another week. But let's move on. Let's talk about Nick Martinez of the Reds. So this is a stream. This is all this is. Nick Martinez is 17% owned and going up against Miami, and it's at Miami, which is the other key part of this. If he was pitching at home in Great American Hitter Park, it might be a different conversation. But Miami hasn't looked hot. They honestly have just been kind of vomit sauce in my opinion. And it's not like the numbers on the season are 100% wonderful. He's posting a 6 ERA on the season, but Nick Martinez for the start, I'm kind of I'm kind of interested in. Especially away. So Seattle kind of lit him up a little bit. He had 5.79 ERA, 2.14 WHIP, 4 Ks through 4 innings, and then San Francisco again. It just he got hit, but I think this Miami matchup is the one. This is more of like, hey, desperate track here, but you're going to get at least a K per inning, and he's going to do your thing. He's going to do some things. If you don't care about your ERA, it's already taken a poop. When you go and play when you have to play Nick Martinez, that's when you roll him out there. If you have a good ERA, I'm not touching him with a 10-foot pole. In all honesty, it's one of those things where it's just a decision making. Hey, who's going to be able to help me in the categories that I actually think I can win? That's what Nick Martinez is. He's going to help you in case there's an opportunity to get it in wins. And if he decides to put it all together, yeah, it's great. But we're not looking at him for that. We're literally looking just for counting stats at this point. So going out there and getting him for strikeouts, yeah, that's where I'm really counting on Nick Martinez. Other than that, I really don't care. He's not a long term play whatsoever. Probably lowest priority hitter, pitcher. It is what it is. Again, streaming option only, no long term value, and desperate. Hail Mary kind of type stuff to win this strikeout category. But all right, let's get our last guy here. Max Meyer on the opposing team, Miami Marlins. And honestly, he's somebody I've always liked as a profile. And the fact that he's up right now and doing his thing is really intriguing. 24 innings pitched, 27 strikeouts, a 2.63 ERA so far, and a 1.125 whip. Meyer is somebody I'm actually like, man, I'm mad I missed out because he's going in a lot of leagues. But he's still only 46% owned, so he's out there in more than 50% of the leagues. And he's looking stellar. This last start against Arizona, where he got hit around a little bit with a 4.5 ERA through 6. But still got the QS, got 8 strikeouts in that time and a 1.17 whip. Went against the Mets who've been clobbering everybody. 6 innings, the win, 4 Ks, no earned runs, 0.63 ERA, a whip, and a quality start. Week before that, Atlanta Braves handled himself nice, even though he had the 4.5 ERA, 8 Ks through 6, and a 1.67 whip. What a quality start. And then hit himself against Pittsburgh. 5.2 innings, 7 strikeouts, a 1.59 ERA, a 1.06 whip. No quality start, unfortunately, but he's showing that, hey, like, this is like my first real year, first time he went out on the bigs. He, of course, had to get Tommy John. Really sad day, but I like him. I think that he needs to be added. He's definitely somebody that has the potential to be a difference maker for you. The kid's got great stuff. If you look under the hood, like, you know, fastball velocity sitting at 94.7 miles an hour. He's getting guys to whiff 30% of the time. Chase 30% of the time, whiffs 31% of the time, strike out 27% of the time, not really walking guys at 7.1% of the time, and producing ground balls, especially that really helps when you're, in hitting, pitching in the park that you're hitting in. His slider has a batting average literally of 0.91, and the expected batting average on that is a 1.45, and he's leaning on that 40% of the time. He's really killing it in that regards. His fastball is getting hit a little bit, and it's not looking good on those regards. And he's leaning on that 23% of the time. Hopefully, he can make some corrections with that, fix the movement, and maybe not throw so many meatballs. But the changeup's looking good. Has a 200 batting average, and he's leaning on that about 14% of the time, but putting guys away with that 25% of the time. He's looking good. He also has a sinker, which is getting hit, and a sweeper, which he's staying away from those pitches ultimately. But the changeup and slider is the most dominant pitch right now. And if he can fix that fastball, things are going to get real fun for him. So, Max Meyer is somebody I definitely want to keep in mind, and not even keep in mind. I want to add because he has another one that has long term value. So add him immediately. Like, wouldn't say pause the podcast, but definitely add him. But guys, thank you for hanging out. Happy holidays. We'll be back a full week this week, and we're gonna be killing it. And also check us out when we go on Locked On Houston Astros. We're hanging out over there, once every 2 weeks, just giving some fantasy advice and things like that. So check us out on there. So thank you for So please like, subscribe, comment, rate, review, do everything you can to share this show. We truly appreciate it. And for your second listen, check out the all new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you may listen to your podcast. Peace out, guys. Have a great rest of your day.